Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here this afternoon to do a short interview with Lewis Clarke, author Lewis J. F. Clarke, I believe. This is Lewis. So he's got a couple of questions I'm going to ask him and going to let him answer in his own time. Okay, Lewis, introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Lewis J. F. Clarke. I've been writing for about 5 years now, and yeah, normally I write about a book a year, so I just go through the motions, really.
Okay. What makes you put pen to paper?
Well, I use a laptop. I don't really use pen to paper per se, but it kind of just came by accident, really. I just wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with my life, and then one day I just went, I want to write a book. I never really thought about it before.
Yeah.
And just decided, I'll give it a go. I kind of thought I was never going to do it. I'll just write a few chapters or go for a couple of days and just give up, and just kept going. All of a sudden I had half a book. I thought I might as well finish it.
Cool.
And here we go. Got 8 books now.
Well, which we will show you more later anyway. What would you describe as your genre of your books?
That's a difficult one, because when I first started writing, I kind of wrote, it was like a psychological drama, I would say. And then when I wrote my second one, I thought, I don't want to be the kind of author that writes the same thing over and over again, but just kind of change the characters' names. So I went completely out of my comfort zone and I wrote fantasy. However, it wasn't really that good, like in my own opinion. I never published it, but I thought, it wasn't that great. But I'd done it, and I thought I could try something else. And then I ventured into horror, then I did comedy, rom-com. I tend to do more dramas and thrillers now, but I do branch from time to time.
Oh, good. As I said, we'll all look at the covers of your books later on, but who designs your covers of your books?
I'm very lucky, because my sister is a brilliant artist. So that was one of my first issues. I thought, I'm not really sure how to approach this, how to go about, and I went online and I thought, I'm going to have to pay quite a lot of money to get a good person to do a book cover, because as most people know, if you have a book cover, it can sell a book or just make people not bother. So I thought, I'll pay a lot of money, and then my mum said to me, why don't you use your sister? And I said, I don't really want to use my sister because it's kind of taking the mick. And she said, she'd probably be offended if you didn't. So I asked her, and she said, sure. And she did it for me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, rest of this.
I always try, and I'll give her some money for it, obviously.
Yeah, that's good. Does your personal experiences reflect in any of your books?
They do, not all the time, but obviously things that have happened to you, you know better than anything else. So when it's happened to you, you can feel it, you can express that exact emotion. For example, I'm not a doctor, so I can't go and say how a surgery has happened in intricate detail. So certain things I've had done in my life, I can go into detail on certain things. Otherwise I can do research, obviously, but it will never be perfect unless you've actually done it. So a lot of my characters have influences of people I've met, or things that have happened to me, or things I've done.
Cool. Good. Okay. How long does it take you to write a book?
I finished my first book in 6 weeks.
Wow.
And
sorry about that, folks. Right. The wind's blowing up.
Okay. Yeah, so I finished my first book in 6 weeks.
Hang on a second.
Okay.
I'll ask you that again. I can cut this bit out anyway. So I think it's best if we reel it in, as they say.
Yeah.
Mostly get you with us speaking. What do you reckon?
Oh.
Mostly get us speaking on it, and then no one will see it.
This will be the outtakes.
Yeah. Just trying to get the heat off this, but it's all right anyway. Okay, right. We'll go back on to that one there. All right.
How long does it take to write?
So we say right. Okay. It's all right. So how long does it take you to write a book?
So I finished my first book in 6 weeks, so it was bizarre because after 3 weeks I realised, because I wrote a little bit every day, and after 3 weeks I looked at it and thought, I'm about halfway through this. Like I said, I thought I would have given up a long time ago, because I've never really had a writing background per se, so I thought it should be one of those phases I go through. And after that I thought, I'll just keep going, just keep pushing myself. No real pressure to write a set amount of words per day, but just go through a chapter or a scene or something like that every day. And then after 6 weeks I looked at it and I just went, I'm nearly done. So I just spent a whole day just going through the whole thing, and then I was like, wow, I've got the first draft. Obviously that's just the first draft, so then it took about another 8 months to get it to the publishing stage. So you have a lot of moving parts, you have to edit, re-edit, send it to an editor, make sure the chapters flow, they all intertwine properly, it doesn't drag or some bits of parts missing, spelling errors can happen quite a lot, so it's a lot of things that happen, but the first book took about 8 months. Now what I do is I tend to go about 6 to 8 months on the first draft, and then I'll leave it about a year. So I give my mind a bit of a break, and then I'll go, okay, then I'll go back to it and I can look at it for a fresh pair of eyes and go, okay, that doesn't make sense because of X, Y and Z, and as I'm reading it as a reader, I can say, well, that doesn't flow, or this contradicts this, so it doesn't make sense in terms of the plot. So then I can change all of those things, and then I'll go through things like that, send it to editor, and it normally takes about a year to 18 months, I'd say.
Cool, that's good. So what do you do in your spare time, Nurse?
I don't really do much, really. I just chill out. I like to play pool, snooker. I used to play football a lot. I don't really do that anymore. What else do I do? Obviously I like to write. But I live in Thailand right now, so it's a place I can just chill and just relax.
Good. So, how old were you when you wrote your first book?
Ooh, how old was I? I think I wrote my first book 2014. So that would be about 27, 28. Yeah, same, like I said before, I had no writing background, I don't have an English literature degree, so I just assumed they'd be terrible. It's just, maybe it's one of those things where you beat yourself up and you think, I'm not good enough, I can't do that, you need this piece of paper to say you can do it. And then I gave it to a few people and assumed it would be terrible, like if it is bad, don't tell anyone. And they said, no, it's actually really good, you should publish this, seriously, it's really good. And these were people who have those degrees. And I thought, I don't really trust them, maybe they're trying to break me down gently or tell me what I want to hear. So I gave it to more and more people and they said the same thing, they said you have a real talent for it, and I just embraced it. Good. A lot of luck, I guess.
Well, we could all do a little bit of luck now and again.
Yeah.
So, what's the most surprising thing that you've learned whilst writing your books?
That I can actually do it. Like I said before, I always assumed I could never do it. I've always been good at maths, so I thought I'd be an accountant or something like that. I actually got a D in English in my exams. So I've always been good at spelling. I remember writing a story when I was about 14 and my teacher said it was a very good story, but it was just something I just didn't really think much about. I just did it and dismissed it. And yeah, then it just came about, like I said, by luck. Things happened at work and I just thought I want to do this, and it started off as almost like a side hustle, so if nothing happens, it's something to say, I've done it and I've achieved it, and it just grew from there, and I'm very lucky, I guess, like I said before. Yeah.
So, do you hear from your readers, and if you do, what sort of things do they say?
I do, and I hear a lot from various people who, there's some who I'm now friends with I was never friends with before, which is really nice. I have people said they've inspired them, which is what you want to do as a writer. As anyone who writes or does any kind of entertainment, they want to inspire people. It's not about, oh yeah, look how great I am. I don't think anybody like that. It's you make them feel a different way about a certain situation. So I had one particular book, Stranded, and I had a girl who contacted me. I hadn't seen her for about 10 years. She was on my Facebook, but she was just in the background, don't really speak, that kind of thing. And she just sent me a message just saying, thank you. And I thought, why? I didn't even think about it. And she said, I just read your book, Stranded, and it was, incredible. It was really amazing. I've just left you a review. So, of course, I frantically went on Amazon to check the review. And it was, I don't want to quote word for word because I don't know exactly what it was. I'm sure you'll see it. But it was something along the lines of, it was life-changing, which I thought, what? And I carried on reading. It said, I've always wanted to do something in my life, I've been too scared. I always worked in offices, and I read this book and I thought, I want to do it. She quit her job and she moved to Suffolk, and now she works as a chef. And I just thought, I indirectly did that, so even if nothing else happens, I've inspired someone, so it was worth it.
Good. I like that. How many books have you written so far, Lewis? So
I've written 8. So like I said, my second one I haven't published. I don't think I will publish. That's gone way out the window. I was thinking about going back to it, but I don't think I want to do it now. So I've written 8, and I've published 6. So the one I told you about before, and the latest one, which is called Madison, I haven't published it yet. So that's in the first draft stage. Like I said earlier, leave it a year, fresh pair of eyes, and then look at it. There's a few scenes I'm thinking about whether I should add or take away, and you only realise that after a year, looking back at it and just going, yeah, that doesn't flow, or I feel like I'm dragging it on a bit here, or whatever. You'll know when you look at it.
Last question, Lewis. So, tell your viewers where they can obtain your books from.
So, I sell mine predominantly on Amazon. So, I've got amazon.co.uk, amazon.com, that's where the majority of the reviews are. I'll show you the books now. So, this is my first one, The Price of Fame. So, that is basically about a child actor who wanted to be, well, he was famous, like obviously as a child, and just thrust into the limelight. And then he just, when he became an adult, he wondered, do people really like me, or do they like who I am, like how much money I have? And yeah, exactly, the persona. So he's grown up in this life and he doesn't really know real life. So it's like you see a lot of celebrities who thrust into the limelight, so they go into a spiral of drugs and depression and stuff. The next one of my personal favourites, The Butterfly Killings. So this was about a child killer who comes out of prison, is given a new identity, and it's written in a Dear Diary point of view. And it's one of those where you see them and they go, I'm completely reformed now, carry on, you can see the diary is completely normal. And it slowly goes into insanity because it's trying to live with the lie, you know, so if anybody knew who I really was, they'd want to lynch me. So every time you've got this fake name, so you hear your real name, you think, oh, talk about me, or things like that, and maybe people are looking at you in a certain way, they know who I am, and eventually it just ebbs away at you. So that was a very difficult book to write, but it was worth it, I think. You know. So the next one was Destiny. So this one was about a kid who always wanted to be a comedian, but was really shy at school. I was quite shy at school, so it kind of grew from there. And really shy at school, and he said, I'd like to be a comedian, but similar to my books, I could never do it, you know, so could never do it. And then he meets this girl, he works in a supermarket, meets this girl, and she wants to be a professional footballer. And she goes, oh, I can't do it. And he's very good at inspiring people, so he's like, you should do it, you should do it. And she goes, well, you're not doing what you want to do. Tell you what, you do what you want to do, I'll go through my dream. And it follows both of their dreams. The next book was Talk to Me. And this is a very simple concept. This is about a guy who's painfully shy around girls. Imagine, like, can't even look at girls, they're so shy. So he just says, I'm going to force myself to talk to a girl every day for about 5 minutes. Maybe the same girl, maybe a different girl. Probably a different girl would be better, but every day for a month. And just see how it goes. And it just goes through crazy situations from there. Like, most of the time, it doesn't work out. He tries to talk to this girl, and he gets painfully rejected. He thinks, well, that was a waste of time. But things happen as a result of that, so it's like the knock-on effect, and he goes into situations, and it was really fun to write that one. And the final one I have here with me is Stranded. So as mentioned before, I live in Thailand, so I've been travelling a lot, and I always wondered what it'd be like if you were stuck in a country that's, let's say, incredibly corrupt, and no passport, no credit cards, nothing, and no one will help you. And you think, oh, you have to survive somehow, and as humans, we survive. We don't know how, but we survive. And I thought, it'd be an interesting concept to put myself in that position. Just go, well, I need to survive now. What am I going to do? Well, I need like a place to live, I need food, all of those things. How am I going to approach this situation? It was very interesting. Obviously, it's a fake country, Paesa, because I didn't want to offend anybody. So I created a country called Paesa, somewhere somewhere between the Philippines and Hong Kong, I think it was. Yeah, so it's quite interesting, because I've had a few people message me and say, I've looked for Paesa on the map and I can't find it, and I'm like, it shows that they're really into it, they're genuinely looking for it on Google Maps, so that's quite good.
Yeah. Okay, thanks very much for your time, Lewis.
Thank you, appreciate it.
And yeah, we'll put this up on YouTube.
Thank you very much, have a good day.
Good one, mate. Hopefully, we can get a little bit of editing sorted